What is going on, ladies and gents? Michael or Legacy Killer HD back here today with another upcoming games video for you. And today we're going to be discussing 13 titles that I feel like are looking to be amazing here in late 2016 and early 2017. But make sure you let me know in the comments what title you're looking forward to the most, and also tell me what you think about some of these games, and let me know what you think of the gameplay and the information that we have thus far about them. But anyway guys, if you haven't already, make sure you follow me on Twitter, and nonetheless, let's get started here with the 13th game, and that is Watch Dogs 2. It's an open world action-adventure shooter video game being developed by Ubisoft Montreal. It's set within a fictionalized version of San Francisco. The game is played from a third-person perspective, and its world is navigated on foot or by vehicle. Players control Marcus Holloway, a hacker who works with the hacking group DedSec to take down the city's CTOS 2.0. And it was revealed at E3 2016 with a trailer. It was a pretty pleasant trailer. I think it looks amazing so far, but I'm really hoping that they fulfill their promise this time around, just because the first Watch Dogs game had a lot more promises like hacking. You should have been able to hack everything, and it wasn't that way. I just feel like that's how Ubisoft's been handling a lot of their projects in recent years, but it seems like just as of late they're actually taking a step back and taking a little bit more time on these games, and hopefully that'll mean that we get some better titles. I mean, I love some of the Ubisoft games that have come out in years. We got Far Cry 3, that was one of my most favorite games of all time, and some of the early Assassin's Creed games were amazing, and I'm sure there's a long list of games that were amazing, but there's also a bunch of games that also fell flat, and they just were miserable experiences for myself, and I'm sure a lot of other gamers. But from the trailers and everything we've gotten about Watch Dogs 2 so far, it seems like it's going to be a great game, but that's the anticipation that Ubisoft does great at. The question is, will it deliver on the experience? And yet we won't find that out until the actual game drops. But so far guys, Watch Dogs 2 is posing to be a great game, or at least it seems like it. At the 12th spot we have BioShock The Collection. It's a remastered collection of the BioShock video game series BioShock, BioShock 2, and BioShock Infinite, published by 2K Games. Alongside the single player content, all of the original DLC will be included. This is one of the best gaming series that I've ever played in my life. I love what Ken Levine made out of this, and it actually is inspired by System Shock if you didn't know, but just an amazing gaming series, and I'm glad that it's getting a remastered. Unfortunately, Ken Levine's actually not involved in this. It's actually one of the remastered games we'll be talking about on this list. There's another one. The big thing about BioShock, what sets it apart, is the story. It's just so intriguing. The concept of it, it's just insane, and I love every single BioShock game, even BioShock 2, although that wasn't made by Irrational Games. I feel like if you have not played a BioShock game, get involved with this, because this series will keep you playing non-stop till the end, and you will not regret it. I'm hoping that we'll actually get a BioShock 3 sometime in the future, but I guess that's just hopes for now. At the 11th spot, we have Halo Wars 2. It's a real-time strategy video game developed by 343 Industries and Creative Assembly. The game features two playable factions: humanity's main military arm, the UNSC, who returned from the first game, and a new alien faction known as the Banished, who serve as a replacement for the Covenant. The game is set 28 years after the events of Halo Wars and directly after the events of Halo 5 Guardians. The original Halo Wars closes with the crew aboard the UNSC warship Spirit of Fire entering cryosleep and drifting into space. Since that event, the war between humanity and the military alien alliance known as the Covenant has ended, and the Spirit of Fire has been declared lost with all hands. So far, what we've seen of Halo Wars 2, it definitely looks intriguing. I love the original strategy game, one of the Halo games I'm really looking forward to, and I really do want to see what they have in store with story and pretty much gameplay, and seeing how much fun it will be to explore this little real-time strategy game that they create for us. At the 10th spot, we have Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord. It's a medieval action role-playing game developed by Taleworlds Entertainment. The game is going to be set as a prequel 200 years before Mount & Blade Warband. It takes place during the decline of the Calradian Empire and the formation of the kingdoms that appear in the previous games. The armor, weapons, and architecture will be drawing inspiration from 600 to 1100 AD. Bannerlord will include at least 6 major factions, each composed of competing clans with their own goals, as well as minor warband factions such as mercenaries. Rumors have been circulating that a console release could be coming, but right now only PC is set for a release sometime in 2017. And right now guys, I gotta admit, this is one of the best games that I've ever played. The Mount & Blade franchise is just so amazing, such a fun strategy game, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the improvements that they make with this new successor, and I feel like there's so much that they can actually accomplish. I've already seen the Siege mode gameplay, it looks fantastic, and some of the other things that they've actually added, like voice acting, that's a nice little addition. I'm just really looking forward to seeing the different types of mods that can be created and the creativity that can come from the community. At the 9th spot, we have Skyrim Special Edition. It's an open world action role-playing video game being developed by Bethesda Game Studios. Windows players who own the original game and all of its DLC will be offered the Special Edition for free. The game includes mod support and much needed upgraded graphics. What I really am happy about Skyrim is that it'll offer an experience that a lot of people did not experience just because they were too young, or I guess they just had something going on, but it is one of the best RPG games I ever played. Although it does lack, in my opinion, to Oblivion and Morrowind, it still is one of the best games ever of this generation. If you've never played Skyrim, you need to pick this hobby up or play it on PC right now. It's just so much fun, and it is one of those games that I really will remember for the rest of my life just because it's such a phenomenal experience, and I really am looking forward to seeing what Bethesda Game Studios has planned for Elder Scrolls in the future. But if you haven't already played Skyrim and you love open world action adventure RPGs, pick this game up when it drops. At the 8th spot we have For Honor. It's a hack and slash video game in development by Ubisoft Montreal. The game features a hand-to-hand combat system described as the art of battle by the developers and allows players to play the roles of historical soldiers such as medieval knights, samurai, and Vikings within a medieval setting. It is hyped as being more of a multiplayer game. I just hope the single player is not like a side piece, and the gruesome battles and chaotic settings just going to make it so much fun. I feel like that E3 trailer just sets up for such a great multiplayer game, and it's going to be fun to utilize these different types of factions. I'm guessing that it's going to serve as different types of styles of gameplay, so that'll be fun. I just feel like this game is going to be a lot more about having fun with other guys around you and kicking ass, but I really do hope, like I said before, that the story has some type of significance and it's not like a Call of Duty game where it's just a side note and the multiplayer is the main attraction. I really hope that it actually has both of the aspects and that you can play in either way that you want to. To the 7th spot we have Battlefield 1. It's a first-person shooter video game being developed by EA DICE. The game is set in the period of World War I and is inspired by historical events. Players can make use of World War I weapons, including bolt-action rifles, automatic and semi-automatic rifles, artillery, flamethrowers, and mustard gas to kill opponents. Destructible environments and weapon customization features present in the previous games return in Battlefield 1 and will be more dynamic. The game's multiplayer is planned to support up to 64 players. Battlefield 1 multiplayer features 6 distinct classes: medic, pilot, tanker, assault, scout, and support. The one really big thing that I love about Battlefield 1 is that it's going into the past. It's not like a lot of these FPS games that are moving forward, making up futuristic, making up stuff. I'm just really liking that they're actually bringing historical events and making them into an actual game. They've done it in the past. I'm really happy about this just in particular, and I really am looking forward to this game just because it looks absolutely insane. I mean, I get that they're mainly going for a more realistic type of game. I'm sure that they're not exactly 100% going to get that, but they're doing a pretty good job at it so far, and I think this game is going to be a very fun FPS game that if you are an FPS player, this is probably the game that you're going to want to play here in later 2016. At the 6th spot we have Horizon Zero Dawn. It's an action role-playing video game being developed by Guerrilla Games. The plot revolves around Aloy, a hunter and archer who lives in a world overrun by robots. Having been enclosed her whole life, she sets out to discover the dangers that kept her sheltered for so long. Aloy makes use of ranged and melee weapons and stealth tactics to combat the mechanized creatures whose remains can also be looted for resources. The game features an open-world environment for Aloy to explore, divided into tribes that hold side quests to accomplish while the main story guides her throughout the whole world. And honestly, when I first heard of this idea, I thought it was outlandish and crazy, but as I've seen more gameplay, trailers, announcements, and details, I really am intrigued about this title. It looks absolutely amazing. The gameplay has brought my attention just to the main story. I'm really intrigued to see what it has to offer, and hopefully some of these quests, not necessarily just the main story, but some of the side quests can give us some answers on why this world is ruled by these mechanized creatures and what exactly happened to the humans that inhabited it. At the 5th spot we have Final Fantasy 15. It's an action role-playing video game being developed and published by Square Enix for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. The characters have the ability to traverse environments in a free-running style, which also extends to battle with larger enemies. It's been in development since 2006, but 10 years later we're finally getting a release on September 30th, 2016. Final Fantasy 15 begins as an armistice is declared between Lucius and Niflheim, ending the Cold War that has raged over the possession of the world's last crystal. A peace treaty is finally drawn up, and as a part of the agreements, Prince Noctis is to marry the Lady Lunafreya of Tenebrae. After Noctis leaves of the day the official treaty is to be signed, Niflheim invades Lucius and takes the nation's last crystal for its own before launching attacks on Solheim, Tenebrae, and Accordo. Noctis and his friends now journey to retrieve their kingdom's crystal and defeat Niflheim's forces. So far what we have seen of Final Fantasy 15, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun finally getting this title, and it's going to be fun exploring this little open world that they have created. At the 4th spot we have No Man's Sky. It's an action-adventure survival video game being developed and published by the indie studio Hello Games. No Man's Sky's gameplay is built on 4 pillars: exploration, survival, combat, and trading, in which players are free to perform within the entirety of a procedurally generated deterministic open universe, which includes over 18 quintillion planets, with many having their own distinctive features. The goal is to make it to the center of the universe and pretty much create your own story and have a blast at it. Now this game is actually going to be coming out in the next couple of days. There's been some copies that have been going around. We've been hearing some interesting news about it. A lot of people are saying they're actually having a blast at it. They're saying it's a lot of fun. They're saying to get to the center of the universe it's only only between 20 to 30 hours, which isn't necessarily that bad unless you're just trying to rush to the center of the universe. But I guess what we've actually heard about this game is that it's pretty good. All we've heard is that there's a lot of bugs, and I'm sure that they'll have a day one patch that'll solve that. And I know a lot of other games have gotten assaulted with all those bugs, one being Fallout 4 that came out last year, and that one was way too many bugs. But I love the game. Just bugs really do cause a lot of problems with some of these games, and hopefully that isn't the case with No Man's Sky. But what we've seen of this so far, it looks pretty phenomenal. I like that it's a very unique game, and I think this could change gaming for the better. And I know a lot of other games are going with that dynamic of making a huge universe. To the 3 spot, we have Mafia 3. It's an action-adventure video game being developed by Hangar 13 and published by 2K Games. The game takes place in the year 1968, revolves around Lincoln Clay, a biracial orphan and Vietnam veteran. As an orphan, he was constantly looking for a family until he joined the armed forces and fought in the Vietnam War. After serving, he returned to New Bordeaux and rejoined the Black Mob. After surviving a murder attempt by the Italian mob, which kills the whole Black Mob in the process, Clay is saved by a priest and attempts to start his own criminal organization to get revenge. Clay is aided by 3 allies, which include Cassandra, Burke, and Vito Scaletta. If you are not aware, Vito is actually the main character of Mafia 2. And my only problems with the original Mafia games, Mafia 1 and Mafia 2, was that it was very linear. There wasn't much open to actually explore the universe that they created for us. And it seems like this time around we're actually going to have that ability. And I love that what they've done. It feels like they've upgraded combat. It looks like it's going to be a lot more smoother. And they've added some other things like making stealth and action, just making it a lot better of a game. And I feel like Mafia 3 is going to deliver in a lot of ways. I'm really interested in seeing how Vito plays into this plot and what exactly happened to Joe. Maybe they finally confirm his death, or maybe something different happened. I think that'd be interesting. There's a lot of room to deliver a great story, so I really am looking forward to seeing what Mafia 3 has to offer. But it definitely seems like it's going to be a lot different compared to previous Mafia games. To the 2 spot, we have Dishonored 2. It's an action-adventure stealth role-playing video game being developed by Arcane Studios. The series takes place in the fictional Empire of the Isles, with the majority of Dishonored 2 set in Karnaca, a coastal city based on areas in southern Europe. 15 years after the events of the Rat Plague, the Empire is plunged into chaos when Empress Emily Caldwin is suddenly dethroned and becomes an outlaw to society. Determined to take back the throne, Emily follows in the steps of her royal protector, Corvo Attano, by becoming an assassin. Bearing the Outsider's Mark, a mysterious mark granted by a mythic being that bestows her with supernatural abilities and an array of weapons and gadgets, she intends to reclaim her title and restore what has been lost. The first Dishonored game was a pleasant surprise, so I really am looking forward to seeing what Dishonored 2 has to offer. So far what we've heard, an engine upgrade with the Void engine looks pretty cool. It's going to be nice to see better running graphics, and hopefully the game will be able to run a little bit smoother. I know they were using the Unreal Engine 3, but so far with this Void engine, it just looks absolutely phenomenal, and I really am happy to see that we're going to have different types of ways to actually use our characters. The abilities and gameplay mechanics look like they run a little bit better in this next game, and either way, I'm just hoping for a great narrative and another great story from Arcane Studios. To the number 1 spot, we have Mass Effect Andromeda. It's an action role-playing third-person shooter video game being developed by BioWare. It is the first game in the Mass Effect series to feature an open world. The game takes place long after the events of the first 3 Mass Effect games in the Andromeda galaxy. A new protagonist, Ryder, is designated as a Pathfinder, an operative tasked with discovering a new planet for the human race to colonize. The game features planets for players to explore, with each having their own characteristics. Similar to its predecessors, the game features a dialogue tree, choices, romantic relationships with companions, and cooperative multiplayer. The long-awaited next Mass Effect game is finally here, and it looks like it's going to be coming in March of 2017, at least that's what rumors are suggesting. It was confirmed for Q1 of 2017 when it was delayed. That delay hopefully is just for polishing reasons, but this game just looks spectacular. The reveal that we got at E3 2016 just got me even more amped up for this, and it's going to be a blast exploring a new planets, new characters, new creatures, new enemies, new everything. It just feels phenomenal to get once again back into the Mass Effect series, and hopefully they'll utilize all the aspects that made the first 3 Mass Effect games so phenomenal. And if you haven't already, make sure you dive into the comment section below. Let me know what games you're looking forward to the most here in later of 2016 and the beginning of 2017. But I want to thank you so much for watching. Make sure you smack that like button if you did enjoy the video or found any informative value, and also subscribe for a lot more videos about upcoming games, and I'll see you guys later.